Stay up out the way, don't get your dish splat. Stop letting this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX. J-Way. I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless. I'm gone. Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck. Give me that. To the trends. See a lead, be the band.
Welcome to Bleachers and Speakers. I'm your host, June. And before I get into this old school featured player of the week, I want to remind everyone to subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube. For your viewing and for your audio fix, you can check us out on any of the aggregators. That's anywhere you can listen to a podcast. You can find me and my co-host and our partner coach, Bleachers to Speakers, FFSN in your search. And you can check us out. Make sure you following us. Make sure that alert notification bell is on. So when we drop content, you'll get an alert and download those episodes. We need to know who's watching, who's listening, and where you're at so we can continue to market ourselves and make sure we bring you nothing but the best in Detroit Lions content. I have, this is a throwback player. I label them as old school players, but when you go past 1980, you go before 1980, these are throwback players here. This guy who I'm talking about, this massive guy, defensive tackle, 6'5", 275 pounds. Yes, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal back in today's athletes, but back then that was a big person on the football field, no matter where you put him at. But the defensive tackle that I'm talking about is none other than Doug English. Doug English played between the years of 1975 and 1985. Now, I'm going to tell you his career stats and sacks. Now, that's a 10-year span. He had 25 sacks. Now, before you get to tripping, I want you to understand something. They did not keep sacks as a statistic until after 1982. So he had 7 years that they didn't record a sack. So he played in 131 games, and this man has the NFL record, and I think it's still standing, for 4 safeties. He's had 4 safeties throughout his career. And that's tied. That's the most. He had 2 in one season. So very dangerous man on that defensive line. He made the Pro Bowl in 1978, 1981, 1982, and 1983. Now, those Pro Bowl games and those Pro Bowl selections back then were serious. You had to be a Pro Bowler, an actual Pro Bowler. And nobody was hurt, this, that, and other. You see a lot of that happen nowadays where someone gets put into the Pro Bowl and they just say, I don't want to go, I'm hurt. And they pull that person. No, it was an honor, and they played that game tough. So, yes, he was a 4-time Pro Bowler. He had a career high 13 sacks in 1983. And he is, like I said, one of only 17 NFL players to record 2 safeties in a single season. That record of 4 safeties is tied with another person. I'm not quite sure who that is, but that's still a lot of safeties from a person over a career. And he only played 10 years. So back then they called it, the defensive line, the Lions Silver Rush. He was an integral part of that in the 70s and early 80s. His consistent performance earned him on multiple All-Pro selections and solidified his reputation as one of the most premier tackles of his era. This guy was a football player. Like I said, he was 6'5", 275 pounds, and he played every down. And like I said, this is a throwback player. They don't make them like this no more. So once again, I want to remind everyone to subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube.
Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop letting this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something.